Hello and welcome to this new video. Today we're going to take a look at the top 10 fastest teams for the Go Battle League. We're going to have some teams here mainly for the Open Great League, but also a few for Ultra League as well as Master League here coming up that are going to be very fast to complete your battles with. We're going to have 500 battles coming up in 5 days with the championship event in Pokemon Go. And so for this kind of occasion, I guess it's kind of fine to make a team more like a video more towards like toxic teams. It's very late for me, so if I talk some crap sometimes as well, sorry about this. But anyway, still feel free to leave a like and subscribe. Would really appreciate it here. Hopefully those teams going to help you out and we can start off with team number 1. We're going to have here an all-time classic. We're going to have the Bastion in the lead. We're going to have the Saystop actually with Gallade here, which I like quite a lot, and also the Sableye as another option if you don't want to run Gallade, and the Victreebel in the back. We're going to have a lead that's very weak to Flying type Pokemon. We have a Saystop that's very good against Flying type Pokemon, but also having coverage with Grass is going to allow you to beat something like the Mud Boys, which is really cool about Gallade, which I like a lot about it, and then Victreebel in the back. Mainly going to be good in the 2-shield scenario. Here is always going to be the 0/1 shield scenario, which makes Victreebel looking not as great as it actually is. It is a really good Pokemon still in the current meta, so feel free to copy this team. Speaking of some classic lines here, we're going to have the next classic line coming up. This is a team that has been around for ages as one of the most toxic teams around. We're going to have the Deoxys, we have the Bastion, we're going to have the Victreebel. Victreebel, especially in the lead, is going to be deadly as it can beat most of the current lead matchups as well, making it a great Pokemon for that. We can swap out into the Deoxys as our Saystop if our lead is not going to work out too well. Heavy X to a Thunderbolt going to give you coverage against Flying type Pokemon that you don't want to face with the Victreebel, but also going to allow you to hit those water types for super effective damage that might want to swap into you if they want to avoid the Victreebel. So like it's a very good core together. And then in the back we're going to have the Bastion again, kind of trying to counter it. Here Annihilate looks like it's being a hard counter to this team, but both the Deoxys defense as well as the Victreebel have actually options to beat this Pokemon, so it is not as bad as it looks like for sure. Moving on to the next one, we're going to have here Double Charm, and yes, again, as I said before in the beginning, fast teams and most toxic teams is kind of like the same kind of stuff. You can also use it like in a little bit of a different way here though. Here we're going to take a look at the Double Charm variant of this team, which looks really cool and only really it doesn't have a breaker. Like there is no real breaker for this team. Every Pokemon that looks like a breaker here actually gonna kind of die in the 2-shield scenario to one of our Charm users there as well. You can also play it a little bit less toxic by going for Powder Snow on the Ninetales, or if you want to go for the Granbull with Snarl, you're going to be able to bait out potential Steel-type Pokemon and still punish it with the Close Combat move. This will be both options that would work out as well. You can make it more toxic by going for the Shadow variant of the Granbull in the back himself, Victreebel, and having Charm on that Pokemon. So yeah, it depends on really what you want to do here, but this team is quite toxic to be fair, but also I would imagine that this team actually still works out really well in the current meta, so feel free to copy if you want to. Next one coming up, we're going to have here the Dragonair in the lead. Shadow Dragonair is going to be a one Pokemon that can actually win quite a lot of leads, especially in the 2-shield scenario because of the Dragon Breath damage coming through. And then we kind of want to align ourselves with a Pokemon in the back. You can of course use some more toxic variants as well. You can also use Victreebel in the back if you want to. But here we're going to have the combination of Azumarill and the Bastion, or of the Skarmory plus the Lantern. It really depends on what you want to run, both of which is going to be fine. But yeah, it really depends on what you want to go for. Team number 5, we're going to have here the Double Counter team. Double Counter team is also something that you can still run. Here it depends on what you want to use, either Annihilate or the Poliwrath as a Saystop, both can work out. Actually I would say Poliwrath might be a little bit of a better play here, mainly because you have the coverage of Icy Wind, which allows you to beat like those Flying type Pokemon, which might come in as Flying type Pokemon have a very tough time against our lead of Skarmory, plus also it just sets up the secondary matchup. Even if they're going to have a hard counter coming in like a Mantine, you're going to have a better time with Skarmory afterwards, so I would recommend here to go for the Poliwrath as a Saystop here, Annihilate in the back. So this team still should work out super well. A Pokemon elite that's going to be able to also beat Fairy type Pokemon is lovely for 2 Fighting type Pokemon in the back. Moving on to the next toxic strategy is going to be Double Incinerate. This is actually a team that I stole from someone as well. I made a video about it already, but Double Incinerate is definitely something that can work out quite well. Here we have to be a little bit careful and a little bit mindful to have 2 Pokemon in the back that are going to be able to be good against counter, because otherwise our Vigoroth in the lead doesn't really appreciate it too much. But Celsar, Skeletor here and Talonflame in the back is honestly a team that works out quite well. I made a video about this team already, so if you want to take a look at this one, feel free to do that as well on the channel. It's going to be one where Skeletor is on the thumbnail, and I think it's even called like double Incinerate strategy, so feel free to check that one out, and we can move on to team number 7. Here we're going to have also a little bit of an all-time classic. We're going to have Water Gun variant of Lantern here to bait out potential like ground type Pokemon, and again the core of Dragonite and Empoleon. There's going to be another team that's very similar to this one as well, but Dragonite together with Empoleon is basically a perfect core, especially in the current meta as well, and also a very fast core. So we have 2 Shadow Pokemon. Dragonite very known for the amount of damage it can do with the Dragon Breath damage there already, which is really, really good. And so this Pokemon has a lot of potential, especially to a rear line, and Empoleon is like literally a perfect Pokemon to cover up the weaknesses of this thing. Lantern in the middle, basically just there to bait out potential ground type Pokemon, just being a very bulky boy in the middle there, but still doing a lot of fast move pressure with a Water Gun. And this team should be quite fast as well. Team number 8 is going to be one of my old favorite teams, but I adjusted a little bit. I would usually run this team with the Manta in the back, which you can do as well. But just for speed reasons, we're going to have the Shadow variant of Gligar here, which is going to allow you to get those wins a little bit faster, as it does more damage, as it has a little bit more fast move and charge move pressure. Both of them are going to be fine if you want to run Manta in the back. It is totally okay as well. But this is definitely something that should work out quite well as well. Again, counter, very nice, and also Magnezone is known for nuking opponents with a Wild Charge, as well as Volt Switch is doing a ton of damage as well. Very glassy lead there, very classy team in general, but definitely still a very solid one that you can run. Against Gligar, you kind of want to go for Wild Charge with that Magnezone against it, just to get a little bit lower, and then you can actually handle it quite easily with a Pokemon in the back as well. But generally speaking, very strong team. Team number 9, going to be the one that you can also use for the Ultra League. Here actually made a little bit of a mistake actually with the graphics, because I forgot to change again. It's very late for me right now, but I kind of wanted to still make the video for you tomorrow, because on Friday I'm actually kind of away until the evening for Friday. We're very likely going to be able to get information towards the new season, so that's going to be exciting. But here Dragonair would be the Great League version if you want to have it a little bit faster, but Goodra is totally fine as well as a substitute for the Great League. But you can also run the exact same team in the Open Ultra League. You can run the Empoleon, the Goodra, as well as the Dragonite in the Open Ultra League. You can also substitute some other Pokemon again, but it still would be a very fast team for the Ultra League. Ultra League, why I don't have more fast teams for the Ultra League is mainly because it's not a fast league. Like, it is not a fast league at all. Like, Ultra League is one of the slowest leagues currently around. So I would not recommend you to really go for the Ultra League if you want to get your battles done fast. But of course, if you're like an Ultra League expert, kind of want to play in this, thinking you can climb the most with it, then feel free to do so. But I feel like Ultra League is the worst choice in terms of speed, at least in terms of the leagues that you have available for you. Final one going to be for the Open Master League. We're going to have here one with Giratina, Primarina, as well as the Togekiss. I played a similar team recently as well. Check out on my channel as well. I have the Gardevoir in the back actually instead of the Togekiss, which is also an option for you as well. Shadow Gardevoir was on the thumbnail for that video. Primarina. Here I have with Waterfall, you can use different options as well. Waterfall is going to allow you to bait out potentially something like a Necrozma, Dusk main form, and still do some damage against it. I would actually more likely recommend utilization here if you have it with Snarl, Wild Shot, as well as Close Combat. Again, like, there's a video on my channel about this kind of team as well. Feel free to check it out. It is a very toxic team and very, very fast as well. So yeah, again, this is going to be it for this video. Hopefully this helped you out a bit to find some very fast teams for the upcoming, basically 5 days of 100 sets, or like 100 games, which is going to be quite mad, 20 sets total. But this is going to be it for this video. Hope you enjoyed this. There's another video on the screen here right now about top teams generally, for like my top teams for the season, for both for all of the Ultra League, Great League, as well as Master League. So definitely check it out, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.